Hi, this is a video specifically for K-5 teachers using standards-based grading. I want to show you today how to add assignments, put them into the proper strands, and how it's going to appear to parents, what they're going to see, so that you have an idea. Let's get started. I want to show you the gradebook first. And first of all, with the gradebook, you're going to see the quarters across, and then once we add an assignment, you'll see that in there. I want to show you the grade setup. This has already been done for you. In K5, the grade setup or the categories are all the same for all grade levels. These are the Common Core strands. These are not individual standards, but they are strands. Your individual standards are going to come under each one of these headings, and I'll explain that as we go along. So I need to add a grade. Let's go ahead and do that, and I'll explain to you what you're going to need to do. By the way, there is nothing to do in the grade setup. It is done for you. I'm going to go to Materials, and I'm going to go up here to Add Materials and add an assignment. And my first assignment is going to be a comprehension page. Comprehension summary, and this particular one happens to be a summary of Tom Sawyer. You don't have to put a description in, but it's probably going to be helpful if you do. Down here in the due date, so I scroll down a little bit, and on the due date, I'm going to put a due date in there. Change the points to 10. And this category, remember I showed you those categories in the gradebook, and that's where they are here. This happens to be a reading literature that the standard will fall under that strand. And then I want to make sure that I'm picking K5 or standards-based K5 grading scale. Now I can align this in a couple of different ways. I can go down here to this Align tool. I can go to Learning Outcomes and School, and then I'm going to go down here to my grade level. This happens to be 4th grade, and I know that this is our literature, and I can use examples and to explain or infer a meaning. So I'm going to choose that one, and the alignment shows up down here, RL.1, so that means reading and literature, the first standard. I can also, if I choose to, put that same standard up here in my title, RL1, and I'll show you where that ends up being in the gradebook, and you can kind of choose whichever you want. All right, so I've got things set up. I did the name, description, I did a date and the number of points, the category, the scale. I've aligned it. Go ahead and hit create. Now notice a couple of things here. One, it put it over here in the calendar side. If I click on this little guy here, it says calendar. That assignment shows up on the calendar due on Friday. This is the same calendar that the parents and the students see. It's a nice way to stay consistent. The other thing you can do is if you go into the gradebook, you are going to notice that that assignment appears in the gradebook right here. Remember I told you that the RL1 could appear in a couple of different places. If I put it in the title, it's going to appear right here in the title on my gradebook. If I hover over it like I am right here, it shows up in the alignment in that black box. So either way, you can do it either way, whichever way you think is easier and works for you. Now I've got my papers here and I've graded them, and now I need to go ahead and put the scores in. I can go ahead and just click there and add. Notice that box that came up. This has kind of confused a few people that I've heard from. The scores you're seeing after those, after MPW, you see 95, 82, 37. Those are not the threshold levels for that grading level for M. 95 is not the bottom of the M. That's the middle. That's the average. 90 or M goes from 90 to 100. P goes from 75 to 89. And W goes from 0 to 74. So what you're seeing there are the average of the grade of that grading level. So don't pay attention to those. They're in there. Those are not the thresholds. All right, so if I can go ahead and keep typing in, and I could do it this way and just keep going. I can tab down and keep going. The other way you could do it though is if your kids all did well on the assignment, you could go up here to this little white triangle, go down there where it says set all grades, and I could put in 10 for everybody and then just go and change the ones that I need to change. For instance, this one and that one and maybe that one and maybe one down here. And then always save changes. There's a couple of kind of cool things that you can do with this. For this assignment, I can come up here to that little white triangle again, and I can say View Stats. And what it's going to do is it's going to show me overall how my class did on this assignment. Just this assignment. So I had 1 at W, 1 at P, and lots at M. I can also go up here and it'll show me my highest grade, my lowest grade. It'll tell me the average for the class. So there's some good information there. I can also go over here next to the child and click on the bar graph there, and it'll pull up just that child. Now this is exactly what the parents will see. This is what it will look like to the parents, is they will see these categories, which are the overriding strands from Common Core, and they will see individual assignments listed below. You can see here, remember I told you that the title, the RL1, it could appear there, but if they hover over it, they're going to see what alignment that goes to. There's also over here a tab that says alignment, and there for you as a teacher, the parents don't have this, but you have that same little graph. It also shows the letter that they received for that assignment. So this particular child got mastery on this assignment. It'll also give an overall percentage for this area, just this area. So we're working on possibly getting rid of those percentages and working with Schoology to see if we can redo that. But right now it's there. The percentage will show up. The other thing is parents will see a grade for each one of these strands. They'll see a letter grade, or a percentage, sorry, for overall. And then they will see an overall percentage for reading. So that is what it looks like. It looks the same way in math. The math categories are slightly different in K2 because their standards are a little bit different. And in science, the standards are all different depending on grade level. You teach different things. And in social studies, those are all the same because they have the 4 same overriding categories from the state. That is how grading works with standards-based grading in Schoology.